Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and today's video comes to us after what was a fantastically enjoyable semi-final versus Hearts. A fantastic performance and an enjoyable semi-final. I've not said that too many times in my grey years for a little while, people, but now we turn our attention to European football, and if there was ever a Thursday we needed some European Rangers Thursday magic, it's the Mora. That's right, people. For me, it's almost a make or break style game that is upon the horizon, despite it being a pretty open group, as you can see, and it not being mathematically we can do this and this and this, and it's still up in the air. I think if you looked at the way the group's unfolded so far, the points that's available, the two games we now have at home, Sparta and Limassol, these games are must-win games, and they'll go a massive way in saying if we even have European football after Christmas, and if we do, what competition it's actually going to be in. So there is certainly a lot at stake, and for me it's massive for both clubs this game, coming despite it only being week 4. But before we really get into the meat and tatties of the video, which is going to have us looking again at Sparta Prague but also at the Rangers end, and I'm going to have a little bit of a moan and a bit of a frustration rant at the Rangers squad list and the massive job that Clement's got because of the mess that we are currently in. But before we get to there, as always, just a friendly wee reminder, in case you are enjoying the content, please consider hitting that like button or hitting that subscribe button. We are now again on this record breaking run of 1,000 likes a video. It's been absolutely sensational. It's the longest run we've ever had on the channel, so if you didn't mind keeping that going, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's just nice to see people enjoying the content, but content leads us to where we're going next. Now normally this is when we dive into the oppositional preview, we start breaking down how they go about their business, etc, etc. But again, we've seen this team not too long ago. We know what they're about now. We've seen what they're capable of, and we know just how good the side actually is, because if we're being fair, if we look at the last time these two sides actually faced, Sparta was the better side for the majority of the game, especially in that first half. I mean, they created more chances in 45 minutes to not just win that game, but win 2 games, if we're being brutally honest, but they didn't. Troops, that's right, it was like Dante Wilder unloading on Tyson and knocking him to the deck. Everyone thought it'd be over, but Tyson got back up and came out there swinging. There's a lot of parallels when you look at that. They threw everything at us, but we just kept getting back up, and just like the fight itself, the first fight between the two of them, it was Tyson that ended the fight stronger. And if you look at that game of football between us and Sparta, yes, we rode our punches, yes, we got hit time after time after time, but if you look at who finished that game stronger, especially in the second half when the tactical tweaks by Clement really came into place, it was us, and we nearly grabbed the winner. But again, I'm not really breaking any new ground here. Everyone knows we saw it, we experienced it together, but where I am leading here, ladies and gentlemen, is what actually happens next. What do you need to know about Sparta Prague coming into this game regarding this game tomorrow? Well, there's a couple things we need to discuss, because if you remember, they were previously unbeaten domestically, winning and thrilling going into our most recent game versus them. However, that has now changed as they followed up our 0-0 draw that they were disappointed in getting, knowing that they should and could have won that game of football. They followed that 0-0 up with their worst performance in about a year and a half, according to what they were saying after the game, as they go embarrassed and shocked to a 3-1 loss. That's right, Sparta Prague are no longer the undefeated domestic side we saw the last time. No, they followed their game up versus us with a loss in the actual league, which again was an absolute shocker and had everyone confused, because no one was saying it. It was a guaranteed coupon buster, if you actually will, but that is what happened. The previously undefeated Ivan Drago actually bled. Now, unfortunately for us all, I can't keep saying that they kept losing and losing and losing their next 2 games before coming in to this one, as it just unfortunately didn't happen. However, the wins weren't convincing as well, as they seemingly had gone through a little bit of blip in form, because they responded with a 2-1 win after their 3-1 loss in the Cup, where it took them again to the second half to come from behind and win. That just wasn't happening previously. And then in their most recent game, they played the exact same team they just beat in the Cup 2-1, a team sitting 6th in the league, 2-0 in terms of a league match. But again, it wasn't anything dominating, and it wasn't nothing great. If you look at Google and if you quick look at the stats, if you just scroll and see, oh, 2-0, mere shots, mere possession, it must have been. But no, they just never played that great in that game either, as it took them again 2 late goals to overcome a stubborn Czech Republic side. And aye, it's very interesting, and it's a complete flip of how I was discussing them last time, where again, I was so impressed about how they were playing, but something happened after that 45th minute where maybe their confidence was knocked, as they've just not been the same side since, in my personal opinion, and hopefully that continues going in to tomorrow. But again, form's temporary, class is permanent, because again, we can keep saying how important it is for us, but it's just as important as them. They crave that European football after Christmas as well, and after that 0-0 draw at their ground, because of the way the group unfolds in terms of head-to-head, they need to better that result, or it favours us the later it goes in to the group stage. So aye, their form isn't great right now, but again, they've still got more than enough talent to hurt us, and we've seen that previously. Their wing play, the way they attack, still a very, very good side, but hopefully we can do what we've threatened to do towards the end of the game and get all three. And I think with that being said, that means we can move away from the Sparta side and get to what matters most, which is of course Rangers Football Club. And it's weird because I sort of know where I'm going in my mind in this video, but I'm going to start off positively before I possibly get into a weird rant, because I feel like there is some positivity. I think we're all feeling that right now, and that in itself is a testament to the work that Clement has done in such a short period, because he has inherited a mess, and I truly mean a mess, especially at European football. And the longer you watch today's video, the more you'll really see what I'm actually talking about. But the fact that he's been able to pick these players up for being absolutely lost and look void of talent as their legs gone. I mean, he's got players back already to their best versions of themselves. The likes of Tavernier's been a revelation since Clement's been in, apparently driving the standards, been fantastic in the dressing room. It's all coming for Big Phil, and I've got no reason to doubt the laddie just yet, as he's always tell us is actually the truth. And he's even been able to maybe not get everybody back to their best versions of themselves with this guy or this guy, but he's got guys that look like absolute duffers, looking like semi-decent football players, and I'll take that considering what we had to sit and watch for the large majority of the old season. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting in my car as much, which is always a very, very positive aspect. So I give Clement a lot of credit because of what he's been able to do in such a short period of time, picking us up and getting us playing like a genuine Rangers football team. But we did mention mess, we did talk about me in a car, and that takes me back to nearly a month ago where I sat in my car and I was very confused and, more importantly, very worried about the European squad list that was submitted by Michael Beale. Now, I do want to preference this by saying I'm not just blaming Michael Beale for this and this and this and this, right? Because the likes of Raskin getting injured and everything like that, that's not really seeable, you know what I mean? You can't really blame him for that one. Jose Cifuentes picking up and all, you can't really look at that. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. Blame him for a lot of other stuff, but no, quite just that. However, there is some stuff you can look at and put the blame on Beale, because one of the things that I was worried about is, considering the fact we were already being punished from UEFA because we didn't build a squad properly, and that's on the manager, that's on the director of football, that's on the board, that look at us and say, we're right, we want to be in European football because it gets us this money, this money and this money. Well, maybe during summers and winter transfers, sign people that's eligible to actually make sure we have full squad lists, because not enough people is talking about this. We have a reduced squad list because we haven't built our team properly. That is embarrassing for a football club, and I'm sure that'll be something Phil looks to fix going forward. And again, let's stop being nose up saying everybody in Scottish football is guff. There is some semi to good players out there, and we need them to actually get full squad lists. So our squad list was already a joke anyway, right? It was already, they had the likes of Ridvan not being registered. I mean, their last game versus Sparta Prague, we never even had a left back playing, and coming into this game it's not exactly much better either. And I think we'll start with this just by diving right in to the deep end. Defence, troops, look at the squad list on your screen right now. On paper it's great. You've got Tavernier, you've got Goldson, you've got John Sewer, you've got Ben Davies, you've got Barisic, and again you've got our boy Dejan Sterling, right? On paper it's not a bad list by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you add in the likes of Leon King and Adam Devine in the B list, because they're young enough to be registered on that list, right? It's not too bad when you look at it that way. However, if you actually look at it now, the way we're actually going, we have just two fully fit defenders going into this must-win game versus Sparta Prague, and that is Tavernier and Goldson, because Suter is gone. You know what I mean? We know this is going to happen with John Souttar. That's the frustrating thing about injuries. He's a good player, but his entire career has been filled with long spells out, and unfortunately that looks like he's going to be out for a little while. Again, hopefully not too long, but regarding this game, he's not there. Ben Davies has just made his return versus Hearts after picking up a little bit of a niggle in training. He's not at 100%. And Sterling, who's barely kicked the ball, isn't fit either because he's just returning for an injury. And guess what? Barisic, our only left back who missed the recent game versus Sparta Prague, also made his comeback game at the weekend. So when I look you in the eyes and say for a must-win European group stage game, we have 2 fit defenders, I mean it. Mess 1. If you will. Again, Leon King is there, but he's also returning for a serious injury. We can't play the likes of Leon Balogun, who's a hot hand, which again, you could maybe look at and say, well, Beale wouldn't have known that Balogun was going to be playing because he wasn't to be playing. But I think if you look at Balogun as a player, why was he not getting a sniff in and around the team to show what he's got? Because to me, there's no surprise that Rangers look defensively better for set pieces when Balogun plays because he is one of our very few players that's actually dominant in the air. I mean, no disrespect to both Souttar or Davies, but if I think Hearts are throwing in the long throws all afternoon like they did, like a prime Tony Pulis capped Stoke side, I think we'd have been hurt a lot. But Balogun there, you've got Goldson there, I think the two of them dealt with everything that needed to be dealt with, and he wasn't getting a sniff. He was just there for the Germany pre-season tour or a feel-good factor. He never got a sniff, never got near it, despite us being defensively weak. He wouldn't rotate, he wouldn't give others a chance. And for me, on paper, our most informed defender, I'd argue, isn't anywhere near a European squad list. But again, he wasn't playing a month ago, so I guess you can allow it. But mess 1 is the 2 fit defenders. Well, let's lead to the midfielders then, shall we? Because it's mess 2. And the number 2 comes out again as we, in my opinion, have 2 fully fit midfielders for this game. John Lundstrom and Ryan Jack. On the list you of course have the likes of Cantwell, Raskin and Lawrence in terms of midfielders in my opinion, but as you know, Tom Lawrence has just made his return from injury with a 10-minute cameo versus Hearts. You've got Raskin, who's unfortunately ruled out in the game, and Todd Cantwell still building his way back up to fitness as he's lasting about 60 minutes a game right now. The mess that we are in is absolutely terrifying, but the reason I tell you this, troops, is the belief I have in Clement is despite everything, and it's looking like an absolute dumpster fire all the way around us, I sit and I believe in this laddie because now we actually have a manager who doesn't have one set of way playing and one way to this. He knows the mess. I think he done a fantastic job versus Sparta Prague. People look at the 4-0 Hibsies and all that stuff as their best performance. His tactical tweaks to nullify Sparta Prague in that second half to get us not only in the game but almost winning it is a sensational bit of management considering the mess that we were in. And going in tomorrow, I'm hoping for the exact same result for Clement. But I just wanted to mention that because a lot of people's been asking about this guy and wanting the latest team news. Well, there we have it, troops. We have 2 fit defenders, 2 fit midfielders, but I'm confident going in tomorrow, yes. And that's the Belgians' influence in this team already. That's the confidence I have in Clement. Now again, European football can go either way. It's obviously a very tough test. Sparta will be licking their lips looking at the current state that we are actually in. Souttar gone out, Davies just doing this, Barisic just being back. We know how devastating they are in the winged areas. They will be coming after us, but I'm just hoping this Rangers team again can keep building and building and building on what's been put in place and that structure that's been put in by Clement. But that is sort of it. I just wanted to talk about the European squad list, our mess that we're currently in regarding fitness, and bringing up and highlighting the problem that no one else is really talking about. We need to start improving how we scout and identify players because we need to start ticking the boxes in terms of eligibility because we can't keep doing this. You know what I mean? Football is a hard sport to play, and when you're having a reduced list in there, you're just begging and asking to be screwed over, and that's kind of what's happening because the injuries can happen at any given time, especially when you're registering several, and I mean several, injury prone players. And that's something I'm sure Clement will be looking at going forward. But that's all I've got to say. You wanted the latest team news, there it is. You wanted the discussion on the European squad list, there it is. And again, I wanted to talk about the mess we've been in and maybe the snobbery we have in terms of Scottish football. All it's doing is punishing us at the highest competitions that we need to play. There has been good players in Scottish football we've let slip under the radar and spent more money on arguably worse players for elsewhere because their names look a little bit better. We do need to improve on that as well, and hopefully Clement can start bringing in the right people, and Rangers and Bisgrove can bring in the right people to get us heading in the right direction. But right direction leads me to my last little bit of today's video, and that is the prediction on. I'm going for it. Right, I'm guessing European magic at Ibrox under Clement. Hopefully he'll be able to ride the storm that Sparta Prague, I'm sure, will come out with right away, and then adjust and change and hurt them as we go on. And I'm going to go for the old channel favourite, that's right, nothing surprising here. Rangers 2, Sparta Prague 1, Danilo on the score sheet. That will do for me, and Tavernier with the other one as well, by the way. But that is it. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on today's topics, the team news, the way we've been badly built. Have we hurt ourselves by being maybe too snobbery in terms of Scottish football and not going out and buying people and spending money on players we should be identifying and tracking? Let me know your thoughts on that. That'd be great. And of course, let me know what you're thinking ahead of tomorrow's game. And until then, I've been Siege Over 92. I will see you tomorrow after the game. All the best, and bye-bye.